So, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to go by the book, I mean to follow the new startup of the 747-8 from the checklist, okay, it is exactly in the position here. Here is the checklist. If we want to go by the book, it is good to write all these things down and not to, to proceed automatically. We also have this ability. I mean, for instance, if we go here, you can press autocomplete page, or if you don't know where a button is, you can go to evaluation and then autocomplete page. But I insist that you must know where each knob and each button is. So about the first stage, pre-flight, things are not that difficult. We go CTRL 8, okay. So you turn your battery on, standby power is set to auto. It is good to turn also the APU starter, first start a few seconds and then on. You release. Hydraulic pumps, at this moment you don't touch, let them as they are here. Also you don't touch the windshield wipers, let them to off position, and of course they are to off position. I mean, what to do here? Our windshield is crystal clear, isn't it? Okay, and landing gear also you don't have to check it out. I mean, landing gear is here, of course it will be down, isn't it? Be careful here a little bit. External power. Okay. I don't know if we have any external power. Actually, it is on if available. So if this was the first stage, the pre-flight, generator seems they are all on. So this is just okay. I think we can have a look what we did so far. So we will bring now the checklist. This is the first stage. And always you press CTRL 8 in order to see what you did. Otherwise you will have a look only here. Something like this will be. Yeah, something let's say like this. Which will be totally inconvenient, of course, isn't it? So every time you hear something, immediately you press CTRL 8. So let us see what we did so far. Evaluation. CTRL 8.
On.
Okay.
Standby power
CTRL
selector.
8.
Auto.
We did it.
Hydraulic demand pump selectors.
We didn't touch.
Off.
Okay, excellent.
Windshield wiper selectors.
They are not working.
Off.
Of course.
Landing gear.
Down.
Down. External power. On if available.
Okay, on if available. So everything is okay. Good, very good. Now please be very attentive, because the commands in the Bible are 10, but here, before turning the engines on, the commands are 39, which are a lot, of course. We said that something that I didn't like is that actually the PFD, your primary flight display and your map are blank right now, and this took me some time to see what was going on. I have posted some clips about this bug actually, but anyhow, if we continue, we go here, and the first thing that you must do is to set the IRS to nav position. 1, 2, 3, and now you see that your PFD appeared and probably your map appeared also. Now about the initialization, CTRL 4, here we go to the FMC actually. Here I don't know what to say. I mean, if you go to initialize your position, okay, I can initialize my position, copy and paste here, so the new position is set, but I'm afraid this is not enough, or it takes some time, and I don't want to wait 10 minutes for this initialization of my position. But anyhow, maybe we will have here a remark that we didn't do it properly. So we continue. I think this is something didn't work earlier with the previous startup of the 747. Okay. So here we have the bus tie isolation switches, and they all must be set to auto. So all these four you don't touch. Let them as they are. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Engine generators are all on. It seems we have some electricity. I don't know why we have, because I think we don't have any external power. I didn't see any vehicle coming. So this we also don't touch. So in general, these don't touch because by default they are on, the engine generators, and all these four bus tie isolation knobs, don't touch them. Check your APU generators, since they are on. If not, you must press them, but since they are on, we will not press right now. External power, I don't know. I mean, I think we don't have. Yeah, if available. So nothing changed. So let it as it is. Engine hydraulic pump selectors. All four, turn them to on now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something very tricky is this useless, totally useless emergency light guard. It is in the most inconvenient position because it is right in front of this bar actually, and I don't know. Okay, anyhow, I managed to close this. Good, CTRL 8 again. Sometimes it is very difficult because you have this bar here, how it is done. You also don't touch the fuel crossfit switches because they are on by default. These four here, 1, 2, 3, 4. They are on, they are open, so you don't touch this one. And of course, we didn't start our engines yet, and you will not touch the fuel pumps, all fuel pumps. And also here, please don't forget to memorize the shim, how it is called, yeah, the shim. Later we must turn, here is a square actually. When you start the engine, remember that here is a square, and also all this here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these two here, okay? But this is for later, okay? So we don't touch this one. All the anti-ice system you will turn to auto. Here they are. In general, I don't pay much attention to these things. Only when we are airborne sometimes I remember. But of course, what to say? When you are airborne, temperature is of course much more lower, and indeed they must be turned on. Okay, here, according to the book, they must be set to auto. 1, 2, 3, 4 engines, and don't forget here the airframe, the ice, also auto. So we are done with this also. Now we have the heat switches, the temperature switches, and we don't touch them because they are all three on by default. Here they are, the cabin temperature, the cockpit temperature, and the cargo temperature. All these are on by default, so don't touch them. They're just fine, leave them exactly as they are. Once again, your windshield wipers, you must turn to the off position. Actually, you don't have to because, what to say, usually they don't work. Even if everything is okay, mostly they don't work. I mean, this is, to my opinion, totally useless. But anyhow, by the book, you must check out that your wipers, or wipers, how is this one, are set to the off position. So you also don't touch this one. I think your damper is on by default or not. Yeah, here it is. You also don't touch this one here, upper and lower, your damper. We checked out the temperature selectors, all these three, and they are set to auto, so everything is okay. All these things I have written down. We don't go here, isn't it? You must have a notebook, something, and you must write all these things down. So next is trim air switches and recirculation switches. which you also don't touch because they are on by default. Here they are. There is circulation fans, and here trim air is also set to on by default, so you don't touch nothing here. But I think you must turn on the pack switches here. Yeah, these are set to off. 1, 2, 3. These three you set them to on position. About the APU bleed, also in other Boeings it is on by default. This is here, so this you don't touch, but you must turn on also the engine bleed air of all 4 engines, which is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please don't forget this one. About the lights, necessary is only the navigation lights and the beacon lights to turn them on, but I think you can turn them all on. Please don't forget this here is both position, so you must choose this position for the beacon lights, both beacon lights. And I will also turn on the navigation lights and the logo lights, which is necessary, but the truth is that I will turn on all of my lights. I hope we have enough electricity. Why not? We are below 10,000 feet. SLC, you know, self-loading cargo doesn't forgive such kind of mistakes. This I know already, so if you have purchased SLC, please follow these steps here, otherwise you will have a reprimand and your grades will be much more lower. Now another problem is with the flight director. Let me see. Flight director usually doesn't work. It is here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Let me see. Excellent. This time it worked. Sometimes it doesn't work. You cannot press this knob here, but anyhow this time it worked, so flight director is turned to on. The truth is that I don't turn flight director to on usually when we are on the ground, but we do these things when we are airborne. I strongly disagree about the auto throttle. Auto throttle must be also armed, which means must be set to on position, armed here. Let me disagree about this. This we don't do never, because if by coincidence you have pressed by mistake this one also and you have set a speed, then you maybe stall during takeoff. But anyhow, the book says that you must turn the auto throttle on. This is a little bit dangerous actually. Here you have the speed, and if your plane departs with the auto throttle, I think this can be extremely dangerous, so we always do these things when we are airborne. Anyhow, auto throttle according to the book must be set to on, and of course this must be all, these two must be off, your speed I mean. Okay. Another question mark about the bank limit. Bank limit in general I always set to 25 degrees. It is here. And this knob is quite inconvenient because it is together with the heading knob. This is a little bit annoying. Lots of times here you press something by mistake, especially if you change your heading. But anyhow, and we always leave it as it is to 25 degrees, or sometimes I leave it to auto. But the truth is that the book says that you must set to auto. So this is done here. Total useless is to check your autopilot bar, not your autopilot knobs, which are here, okay? If you activate your autopilot, you press either with the mouse here or with your yoke or your joystick, okay? Not this, actually this one will be activated. But anyhow, the bar must be off. And this is extremely important because if you have any kind of emergency during flight, the first thing that you do is to disengage the bar, this one here, I will not touch it, and not to disengage the autopilot from here, pressing this knob here, because usually, actually this doesn't work. You disengage your autopilot, you have seen these things in our clips lots of times, and then you start from scratch. Then you start from the beginning and you must set again all your autopilot controls. So anyhow, you check the autopilot bar, and this is just fine. About landing gear, okay, what to say, landing gear is here and is down. Yeah, of course it is down. If you want, you can have a look also with the external camera. Okay, gear is down. Something else quite important is the auto brakes. The auto brakes I don't trust. For you who follow the clips, you know that I press manually the brakes, or if we have a very short runway, I can set them to position number 3 or number 4. But according to the book, before takeoff, you must set to RTO position, rejected takeoff. The truth is that this I don't do almost never, because I trust my planes. I mean, we usually depart with flaps set to 20 or 25, so there was no time that we had a rejected takeoff. Anyhow, auto brakes must be set to RTO position. About parking brakes, this is a little bit important. Okay, of course parking brakes are set. They are set by default when you start the game. But anyhow, it is part of the commands and you must check it out. And I also checked out if the keyboard command works. We have said these things 1,000 times. The keyboard command is CTRL and del on the numpad. CTRL and del on the numpad. Okay, so this works just excellent. Otherwise, maybe we would have already started rolling, isn't it? But we didn't. Anyhow, you must check that the first camera, that your parking brakes are set. This is important. It is the first move that you do when you stop your plane, and actually the first move you do when you depart, isn't it? So this is checked also. About speed brakes, again a question mark. This I have set to other clips. Okay, I don't know for which reason this is here, I mean down. Here we said that we have a problem that when you are not on idle, if you cross the idle threshold, let's say, the speed brakes they are set to on by default somehow. In this I commented already. I don't know. Anyhow, speed brakes must be to the initial position, I suppose, isn't it? Okay. Maybe we will have a remark about the reverse thrust here. Anyhow, we will see this later. Thrust levers must be on idle. Yeah, surprisingly seems they are on idle, though I think they are not. Let us take this out. Okay, so this is done also. About flaps, a few things. Please be attentive. I hope you are not tired. Please be attentive a few minutes. We're almost done. About flaps, some extremely important things. Flaps are here, okay. By the book, flaps must be set to 0, must be retracted. Now, I have said those things also lots of times. If you want to increase your flaps gradually, you press F7. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want, and so on. If you want to decrease, retract your flaps, you press F6. 1, 2, 3. F6. 4. And if you want, with just the press of a button, to extend your flaps fully, you press F8. Here it is, you see. And if you want to retract them fully, you press F5. Please memorize these 4 commands. F5 and F8, fully extended and fully retracted, and gradually with F6 and F7. But anyhow, the book says that before you start the engines, actually flaps must be set to 0. And we check this out. Please be another minute careful. We are almost done. Okay. About fuel control switches, we don't have to check something. I mean, we didn't start the engines yet, isn't it? So we just see that they are closed. We didn't set them to the on position. Okay, seat belts. Seat belts are somewhere here. Here they are, seat belts. In other Boeings, I think seat belts are in the upper panel. But anyhow, the seat belts in the 747-8 are here, and you just set the seat belts. Okay, to auto you can as well, but the book says to set to on position, and this is what we did, so it is okay. And last but not the list is your transponder TCAS ATC, and the default position must be standby. So please have a look here. Later you can change it and put XPDR, but in the beginning must be set to standby. So here is your transponder. Yeah, exactly, it is set to standby position. So you just check this. No, it is standby, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, the moment of truth, we are done, and we will check out what we did. Not to mention this bug here that I think I mentioned this already, that when you hear the commands from the checklist, I don't know if this is a bug or if this is done on purpose. I'm afraid this is done on purpose in order to make your life more difficult, because I didn't see it in any other of my Boeings above 737. I mean, every time you hear the commands, it brings you here. Though, isn't it? It should bring you here, CTRL 8. So now we will check everything, that it is okay. And every time I must press, and you must also press, when you will practice all these things, CTRL 8. And I have only one question mark before we start, CTRL 8, about the hydraulic pumps. I think that maybe here, though on the book it is written to set them to on, isn't it? But I'm afraid that when we will proceed, we must already turn them to off position. And even if I'm mistaken, I will risk this and I will set them to off position. I will. Maybe I'm wrong and I shouldn't have done this, but I think that this is not mentioned. I don't know if it is also a bug in the checklist, and if we left them to the on position, we will have a remark and we cannot continue. But maybe I'm wrong. We will see it soon. I don't insist about it. There is a chance that I'm wrong. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the moment of truth now. Don't forget each time to press CTRL 8. Also, the second question mark was about the initialization, isn't it? We said this. I don't know if we initialized the plane on the FMC, CTRL 4 here. I think we did. But maybe it needs some time, and we will have here also a remark. So CTRL 8, the 39 commands. Here it is. Let us see what we did. Yeah, the second one. The IRS position. Maybe we will have a problem here. I'm not sure. So let us take it from the beginning. Quickly CTRL 8 each time. Each time, quickly you will press CTRL 8. So, evaluation.
IRS selectors. NAV.
Good.
Set IRS position. Set.
Good.
Bus tie switches.
Excellent.
Auto.
Good.
Generator control switches. On.
Yeah.
APU selector.
This I did somehow because I started the engines already, but anyhow, it is okay. I have done this already.
Switches.
On,
when
if available, okay, they are on.
Hydraulic demand pump selectors. Off.
You see, I was right.
Engine hydraulic
I was right. This is not mentioned in the checklist.
On.
Excellent.
Emergency lights.
Okay, we did this. It is a little
Guard
bit higher,
closed.
isn't it here?
Fuel crossfeed switches.
CTRL 8.
On.
Excellent.
Fuel pumps. Off.
Okay.
Anti-ice.
CTRL 8.
Window
Yeah.
heat switches.
All three are on by default. This I forgot. I'm not fucking perfect.
On.
Okay.
Windshield wiper selectors. Off.
Okay.
Yaw damper switches.
We did this definitely.
On. Passenger temp selector.
They are on by default.
Auto.
They are auto by
Flight
default,
deck
okay?
temp selector.
All three,
Auto.
they are set to auto by
Cargo
default.
temperature.
Also,
Auto.
good.
Trim air switches. On.
Yeah, we did this also.
Recirculation switches. On.
Engine bleed now.
Pack switches.
No, the pack
On.
switches, yeah. Okay,
Isolation valve switches. On.
excellent.
APU bleed air switch.
This is on by default, we
On.
said.
Engine bleed air switches.
All four we...
On. Navigation lights.
Set to on. Navigation
On.
lights, we set all lights to
Logo
on.
lights. As required.
Okay.
Flight director.
Flight director is
On.
on. Yeah. This time it worked.
Auto throttle. Arm.
Okay.
Bank limit selector.
Here.
Auto. Autopilot disengage bar.
Okay. We check this out.
Up. Landing gear.
Is down.
Down. Auto brakes selector.
RTO.
RTO. Parking brake.
Set.
Set. Speed brake. DN.
Okay.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Idle. Flaps.
0.
Up. Fuel control switches.
We didn't start the engines yet.
Cut off. Seatbelt selector.
On.
On.
Auto. Okay.
TCAS/ATC selector.
Stand by.
STBY.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we did quite well. I'm in general quite satisfied. Of course, it was not perfect. There was some mistake. But I'm really glad about this one because this is not mentioned in the checklist. I mean, afterwards, you turn all these pump selectors to off position. Though it is not written, I repeat again, it is not written in the checklist. It is only written that you must set them to auto position. But I'm glad that I was right about this one. Of all these things, have in mind that the most important is about the PFD and the map here, because this took me quite some time. When you start, your instruments are blank. Please don't forget CTRL 8 to turn IRS, okay, the inertial reference system, to nav mode here. Otherwise, there are also some clips I posted about this bug actually. You will not have a PFD and you will not have a map. So now if we want to start the engines, I will make a try, CTRL 8. I will make a try to start the engines. You must also memorize, we set the position of the fuel pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the square. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And also 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. They are set to on. It is not the worst scene. It is not the worst scene. All engines together. Let us gain some time. Just check it out. Just check out that they are all on, because sometimes maybe you didn't press something. And quickly we go down to our valves here. 1, 2, 3, 4 engines here. And also there is another command to check the FIS, which is exactly here. You see? Perfection. Perfection. Okay, we can check it also here. And we can check here the auto start procedure. And if we want to be sure, we can also use the drone camera and see that our engines are running. Here it is, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So let us just see if we can move this plane. Again, we will cut the 2 bars here. Where are they? I think we don't have enough space. And I would like to continue my coffee. So we disengage here. Immediately press the brakes. Reverse thrust. Okay, okay. Unfortunately, we will destroy a few Cessnas, but I mean, I don't know whose fault it is. This is the place we were given. So, the complaints to ECOD, Echo Kilo Oscar Delta. Maybe I'm quite higher than the Cessnas here, and they will escape. Okay. So somewhere here we were drinking our coffee, isn't it? You see, we are operational. And I had some acquaintance here. I think somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here maybe I can park. You know, after this incident in Dubai, I always want to have my plane somewhere near, because I already lost one plane in Dubai airport. There is a clip about it, you can have a look. Okay, so, you know, I don't want to disturb the passengers. They will be boarding soon, so I will shut off all 4 engines. Yeah, I don't want to disturb them. No. So here we are. And here is my friend. I remember him from previous clips. Will you be flying with us? You said so, isn't it, or not? I suppose you're not carrying something, isn't it? I'm your pilot. And here is father and daughter, I think. I'm sure that they don't mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is all for now. I just wanted you to have a look at the startup of the new 747-8 after the AAU2 aircraft avionics update number 2. I'm glad that we managed somehow, successfully, more or less. Write all these things down and go by the book if you want to be precise. It will take some time, of course. Thank you for watching this clip, and hope to see you soon to the next one. You take care and bye for now.